Hello, guys. Hello, C3. It's JJ. All right, I'm about to get this off my chest with this whole Matt Corral, Bryce Young thing. This guy, Cody, it's outrageous at this point. It's really outrageous and just blind faith he wants to have in our franchise and Matt Corral. But there was a few things he said in the previous podcast, at least the last two or something like that, that were just so mind-blowing to me, I had to say this. So the first thing was he compared Matt Corral to Jalen Hurts, okay? And he compared them because they were both not first-round pick quarterbacks with a lot of downsides to them, a lot of critiques, a lot of that kind of shit.
Which was
but what
true.
he failed to realize was Jalen Hurts also played for Alabama and Oklahoma when he didn't want to draft Bryce Young because he plays for Alabama. Because he said, oh, Alabama has all the talent, this and that, but Matt Corral didn't have that shit
for
out.
Alabama.
Newsflash. This is the least talented Alabama team we've seen in like the past fucking decade. But not just that, that argument of, oh, Bryce Young's played with all the talent for Alabama. Look at the last three Alabama quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, and Mac Jones. Tua is undefeated this year when he finishes a game. Jalen Hurts is undefeated this year.
Well,
Mac Jones is garbage with the defensive coordinator calling his offensive plays, but made the Pro Bowl and playoffs last year with better quarterback play than we've seen from any Panther in the past 5 years. I mean, like, look what happens when you get these guys actual competent pro-level players around them. He talks about the talent they had in college. Well, when you're a pro-level player playing with other pro-level players in college, then you go to the pros, get other pro-level players around you, guess what? You play like a fucking pro. Like, these guys played an offense, NFL
So is that not
offensive
true for Matt
teams
Corral?
and systems with Bill O'Brien. So guess what? They're more pro-ready. Unlike Matt Jones, or Matt Corral, should I say. Matt Corral played in a very, very simplistic team and offense over at Ole Miss. He's very uneducated IQ-wise in terms of what reads he needs to make, what actual decision-making he needs to do. When he's played against higher-ranked talent, he's wet the bed every time in college. Then he has poor decision-making by playing in the bowl game. Gets hurt again in the preseason when he has another opportunity. So now he's fucking injury-prone. And Cody Lachey wants to put the whole franchise's faith into him. That's crazy to me because he's like, oh, he's got a rocket arm.
He's got a part here. He's got a little bit more to say before you respond.
I have no idea where it cut off last time, so I'm just going to keep going. I know he doesn't like Tua because he just keeps saying, oh, he's starting to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle all the damn time. But newsflash, like, if you look around the league, Jalen Hurts has A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Patrick Mahomes has Travis Kelce and Juju Smith-Schuster, the best offensive play caller. Like, Josh Allen has Stephon Diggs and plenty of other weapons. I mean, like, we've had time and time again in recent memory that shows us you need an elite supporting cast to get the job done. The back-to-back MVP is nowhere to be found after losing the best wide receiver in Devontae Adams. So it just doesn't make sense to me how he'll continue to downplay these Alabama quarterbacks that are in the NFL for Matt Corral. Like, it blows my mind. And my other point was, does he really think Brian Burns is going to re-sign if the franchise goes up to him and says, yup, guess what? We're going with Matt Corral. He's our future. He's our plan.
Dude, all
Brian
this
Burns is
straw
going to
man
laugh and say you guys should have traded him. That's like, it blows my mind. Like, the shit Cody, like, really believes in when it comes to Matt Corral. Like, everything actually says no about Matt Corral, and Cody just tears his shirt from his chest and says, yeah. And it's so stupid. Also, he said C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young were pure pocket passes. That's a fucking lie. Bryce Young
that's why I
has
know you don't know what you're
mobility.
talking about.
He has pocket awareness. He has escapability. he has those kind of skills that you need at the NFL nowadays to extend plays.
So
and
much
his playmaking ability is really first to none. Like, Matt Corral can't do that shit. He doesn't have to stop and go. He doesn't have none of that.
Tell me you've never watched
It's just
tape
crazy how he compares the two when they're not really comparable. And, yeah, it just blows my mind about that. But let me hear what y'all got to say about it. Tony Dunn, you already know, play that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Cody Lack, you get the Tower of Shame for that, and you need the iced up.
Damn.
Thank you for your call first. Thank you for the call.
Thank you for the call. Number one, dude, you're so wrong on absolutely every level. Number one, let me make something clear, right? I have always said that if the Panthers are drafting top 5, they're going to draft a quarterback. And I have never denied that they're going to, nor have I ever said that if they're in a position to draft a quarterback, that the Panthers in no way shouldn't do it. I understand the idea that the man has been injured and you cannot reasonably rely on someone who has been proven to be injured to start. What I am saying is, from a talent level perspective, yes, Matt Corral is a physically better prospect than Bryce Young. And that's not to say that Bryce Young is a bad football player. Bryce Young has incredible pocket awareness. He understands where the pressure is coming from. And he's a really good point guard. He can put the ball in receivers' hands. But the fact that you're saying that that they're not comparable when it comes to like physical traits, Matt Corral had 11 rushing touchdowns and over 500 rushing yards his final season at Ole Miss. And then, by the way, you talk about talent level, and that when you put talented players around your quarterback, then that's when they start to thrive. Okay, so our offensive line is putting up beast mode numbers right now. DJ Moore is a number 1 wide receiver. Terrace Marshall's starting to come on. And Matt Corral has been in the offense learning the playbook for a year, and you've already written him up as a bust? What are you even talking about, dude? I can say the same thing. If you put Matt Corral, and if he has some time to stay healthy with the proper protection around him, I can easily say that Matt Corral could have every bit of talent in this offense that any other quarterback that you're going to draft this year could have. Now, I'm not saying Matt Corral is a perfect prospect, but what you're doing is making a lazy assumption and saying, oh, he fell to the 3rd round, therefore he's not a good player and he has no talent, and there's a reason that he dropped to the 3rd round, and thereby completely bypassing all of the actual reasons that Matt Corral did fall to the 3rd round. One, that injury played a major part of it, and then number 2, I mean, really, the main factor was the injury. That's really what bumped him down a lot at the end of the year. And Matt Corral did not have the talent at Ole Miss that C.J. Stroud has at Ohio State, or that Bryce Young had during his Heisman campaign last year with Alabama. My final point is that Bryce Young this year is on pace to have slightly worse numbers by the end of the year than Matt Corral had in his final season at Ole Miss. I am not telling you that Bryce Young is a bad player at all. In fact, there are some things that he does do better than Matt Corral. But to come up here and say that there is some night and day difference between the two of them, you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
One thing about Matt Corral that I found interesting as we were getting to know him a little bit more as he was drafted by the Panthers, he talked about how if he went back and redid things, he might have gone to a bigger, more talented school and risked the competition. I think what he went to, he said he felt like he played it safe by going to a place where they're going to give him the starting job. And if he could have walked into, I mean, if you think about some of these guys like a Joe Burrow who was bounced around and wasn't necessarily the starter. Justin Fields was with Georgia, right?
Yeah, he was with Georgia.
You know, and
then,
so the uncertainty for some of those players as they go into some of these places and they're being promised everything by these recruiters, you know,
Right.
I think he mentioned that is like his stock could have been higher potentially had he have been a little bit riskier in his
Right.
um
But
in
also
the
a more
school he chose.
also a more consistent football team. He had coaching changes. There were quarterback changes. Like there was a lot of moving
Did he play
parts.
under Mike Leach? Is that who he played under?
No, so he played under Lane Kiffin at the very end.
Oh, well
But
no wonder he was good.
right, but he played in a different. And by the way, he mentioned the offense at Alabama. Lane Kiffin was part of the reason that Alabama has the offense that it does now. These heavy RPO systems. So even still, like Alabama's still doing some of those things. So to say that that Matt Corral was in some offense that just does not translate to the NFL, that's just bunk. If anything, the NFL is moving even more in that direction.
Well, we don't really know. There's a lot of, first of all, it's all these players. There's so much uncertainty with them in general. So, look, as you've been high on Corral, you were before he was drafted.
I just want him to have a chance, like to give him an actual chance to compete for the job. I don't want anything gifted to him. I just think that there should be an actual quarterback competition. That's what I would like.
All right. The number's 252-228-5098. Let's go to the next call.